You ready?
Yep.
You can't really wear glasses, right?
No.
Just put them on when you need them because they glare. Right. Come closer to me so you need to be. Hello and. You ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay. Hello. Hello and welcome to my channel. I'm Andri and right here next to me is my husband Rico, for those of you that are tuning into my channel for the first time. We have recently been on a cruise on the Celebrity Ascent, so we are here to answer your questions and fill in any of the gaps that I have probably missed out when uploading the vlogs. So I'll link the cruise vlogs or the playlist in my description box, so feel free to check them out if you haven't seen them. Anyway, welcome Rico to the channel.
Hi, Andri.
So I have persuaded him to come here and help me answer the questions. Okay, so we went on our cruise on the, do you remember the date now? The 21st, was it, of February, or there or thereabouts? And we've got the
23rd, was it not?
Was it? Hold on, I have papers here. Sunday, February the 23rd. That's
okay.
Correct. We started our cruise. So we flew Glasgow, London, Miami.
Correct.
And we got we spent
2 nights in Miami.
2 nights in Miami, and we stayed in a 4-star hotel.
A hotel.
Which, anyway, if it was 4-star, it's debatable. But anyway, we'll leave that one aside because we're talking about the cruise. So we then got the boat from
Ship.
It's
It's a ship.
a ship. It's a boat.
Yes.
We got it from Fort
Lauderdale.
Okay, so he's filling in all the gaps. Okay, and wow, that first day was amazing, wasn't it?
It
We
was.
haven't actually done like a proper big cruise like that. We've done little cruises like from Cyprus to Egypt to the different Greek islands and things like that, but a big cruise like that we haven't done. So we cruised round the Caribbean.
Correct.
We'll get into all the ports as we go into the video. And yeah, so we got onto the boat the first day. Like I'd said on the vlogs, I was in total awe of the whole ship. The ship was amazing.
It was.
Wasn't it? There was like everything you could possibly want on that ship.
That's right.
Except your family.
That's it. But it had everything.
Honestly,
It had everything.
it had everything. And it was...
It had something for everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was designed to entertain everybody in some way. If you wanted a quiet place, there was a quiet place. If you wanted party, there was party. If you wanted a club. If you wanted theatre, I mean, entertainment for everybody and anybody. The only thing I would say, it wasn't really a ship designed for children.
No.
There was very few children on the ship. It was more of an adult
orientated.
Yeah, it was very much adult orientated, this particular ship. Anyway, so we booked the cruise for my 60th, or I should say Rico booked the cruise for my 60th. I'm just going to adjust the camera slightly. So we booked the ship for my 60th, so that came about. I've been wanting to do a big cruise like this for a very, very long time. Rico always said, yeah, we'll do it, and then one night I had a flaky, didn't I?
Not really. He said, so when are you going to book this?
When are you actually going to book this? Are you going to wait till we're old and we can't do it? Blah, blah. Anyway, and he did it, and he did a superb job. Do you want to tell us how you went about booking it? Like, you went through an agent, didn't you?
Well, I went to a few agents at first, and they weren't giving me anything that stood out. They were giving me nice ships, Cruise of the Caribbean, but they weren't sort of giving me something that excited me. So one of the ones that one of your gym friends recommended agents, I got in touch with them, told them what I was looking for, told them what it was for, told them how much I wanted to spend, etc, etc, and they came up with a couple of options.
Yeah, because initially it wasn't just we weren't just looking at the Caribbean initially. They gave you an option for the Caribbean, Dubai And a Mediterranean cruise?
No, it wasn't a Mediterranean cruise. There was a cruise, like a Canary Island cruise, which is more the Atlantic.
That's right, so it was.
Yeah.
Okay. And you opted for... We were debating between Dubai and the Caribbean.
Yeah.
So you opted for the Caribbean.
I did.
Why?
Well, I didn't really fancy Dubai, to be honest with you.
You said to me at the
Abu
time...
Dhabi, you're going to go to Abu Dhabi, you're going to go to Qatar, and I think it's much alike, everything's the same.
Right, well, we haven't really been, so
Yeah.
we don't know, but you felt Dubai was a place that we could more easily visit as opposed to
go on a cruise.
To going
Yes.
to the Caribbean. Anyway, so you decided on this, you booked it all, and I just followed along, basically. So travelling to Miami, you said we were going to book our seats. We needed to book our seats to get half decent seats. Is that correct? So
Correct.
we weren't travelling business class or first class. We were just travelling economy, or whatever you like to
That's
call
right.
it. And initially you were looking at booking your seats so they would be better seats. Is that correct?
That's right.
And then when you were looking at the seats, it was going to work out $500 to book the specific seats that you wanted, include return.
Yes.
Yeah. And at the last minute, you kept checking on what's it called, the place?
No.
Something Guru.
No. What I did, I checked on Seat Guru
Right.
to what their opinion was on each seat, and
That's
the
right.
pros and cons of booking that seat, etc., etc. But I was checking on, it was American Airlines.
Mm-hmm.
I was checking on their site if the seats were still available that I was looking at. And what really got me about the way they sold their seats, in that main cabin area, all the window seats were desirable seats, so there was a cost to actually booking them in advance. The only seats there was no cost in booking in advance was the middle seats, the four down the middle, and also if you had a window seat, the seat next to you there was no charge, but the outside seat on the aisle there was a charge for that as well.
Right.
And I thought, this is strange.
And you then decided you weren't going to book them because the seats you were looking at were still
Yeah.
available, and you
Yes.
said, we'll book them when we arrive at the airport because they're still available.
If
And
they're still available.
Yeah, and I'll just pay for them. We got to the Glasgow airport. You asked, they had allocated us seats.
That's right.
And then you had asked to change the seats. And we got the seats that we wanted,
Correct?
right, free of charge.
That's
So
right.
I just thought that was worth sharing. On the return flight, it was packed and we couldn't book our seats.
We couldn't
And we
book seats.
then realised how good those seats were when we were going to Miami as opposed to the seats we had coming back, which were
Yes.
awful. Anyway, that's just something I wanted to share there about, what was that thing called again? Seat Guru.
Seat Guru.
Seat Guru, just in case anybody finds that interesting. So, we got on to Celebrity and we were on level 8, which
That's
you
correct, yes.
booked. You booked level 8. You also changed our cabin to, so we had a good view, so we had the infinity window,
Correct.
which was absolutely amazing. And I know on YouTube there are very mixed reviews of the infinity window. We absolutely loved it. It gave us an extension to the room.
That's right.
We had the option of opening the window. It opened quite low down, like halfway
Halfway down, yeah.
and you felt as if you had a veranda.
That's right.
The only time you couldn't open that window is if the captain had, what was
An
that?
override.
Yeah, he had an override, you know,
Yeah.
that it was dangerous to open the window. But we absolutely loved the room. Was amazing.
Yep.
The bed was amazing. The bathroom was amazing, and I've showed
Yep.
all of that on the vlogs.
That's right.
And we couldn't fault the room
No, not at
in
all.
any way. We couldn't fault the service on the ship
No.
in any way. Everything was absolutely amazing. Now, dress code. And that was the thing I wanted to know about about dress code. It's very mixed on the ship. You can basically suit yourself. We didn't have a captain's table or anything like that, which you quite often find on the cruises. We didn't on this cruise have a white night, but we had like a sparkle night.
Sparkle night.
And we had, there was another night where you dressed up and people dressed up. There were some that didn't, but even the men were wearing glittery jackets,
That's right.
dinner suits, long dresses. So it's basically suit yourself. You're not allowed to wear swimwear whilst dining, breakfast, or at any time like that in any of the restaurants. Although I had seen 1 or 2 people, I don't know if they were pulled up on it, but it was a very relaxed atmosphere. Okay, so when we arrived in our cabin, it still wasn't quite finished because it said on the door perfection in progress, which meant that they hadn't actually finished. If you watch the vlogs, you would have seen I'd seen a bag under the bed which I thought was full of rubbish, but actually what it was the contents of the fridge, because the previous people wanted them removed because you would get charged for anything that you use from the fridge, even though we had a full drinks package.
That's right.
The top drinks package, surprise, surprise, cheers my people. We would still be charged if we used anything from the fridge.
That's right.
Even though we had a drinks package, that would get charged, and I think it works out quite expensive. Talking of drink, you're not allowed to take any drink on the ship. Is it 1 bottle of wine or something you're allowed on?
Yes,
it's very
you
limited.
Take a bottle of champagne or something to your room from.
So when you go in, all your cases and everything gets scanned, and every time you leave the ship, a port, everything gets scanned again, doesn't it? Everything gets checked. It's like everything gets checked every time you get on and off the ship. These are your kind of keys for the room, and these are at the door as soon as you arrive, so they're not given to you, they're at your door. The other thing now that I remember that you should do is download the app, because that app gives you access to lots of things. It gives you access to, you can dim the lights from the app, you can book your excursions on the app.
That's right. Everything.
Everything. It gives you access to everything.
And when you're getting your drinks, this is what you give.
Yeah.
And that tells them that you're on the premium package, etc., etc.
Yes,
as well.
this is what they scan, because we prepaid the drinks, we prepaid the gratuity.
That's right.
We upgraded my Wi-Fi.
Wi-Fi.
And it really does make a difference, because you couldn't even use WhatsApp, could you? It was difficult.
I couldn't. No, I could use WhatsApp. But if I uploaded a video or anything on WhatsApp, it wouldn't upload.
Yeah.
And I couldn't download any either. But for basic messaging and things like that, it was fine.
Yeah. So mine was uploaded, which was fine, because then we could send videos and things to the family, and of course I could do my stories and everything like that. So it was well worth it for me to upgrade my Wi-Fi, and I would definitely do that again. But you don't need to both do it, do you? As long as one upgrades, it's good enough. Would you upgrade your drinks package again?
Oh, definitely.
Definitely.
You had a better selection of wines.
Yeah, like
you could have
champagne. And
your champagne, yes, one Whispering Angel.
Yeah.
For a standard glass of rosé wine,
Yeah.
and it was a better drinks package all round.
And it's unlimited.
That's right.
It's the amount of drinks. I mean, there's only so much you can drink. So that's the drinks covered. Anyway, so when you arrive, every morning you're given one of these. These are really, really good, but this also comes up on the TV as well, if you're not given one of these. So this tells you what the excursion's going to be that day. It tells you all about the restaurants. It tells you everything you need to know about the ship as well. So these were really good, and I still have them, and we'll go through them just now, just to remind us which ports we stopped at. So we arrived on Sunday, and this just tells you what's going on that day, and basically it is a party when you arrive on the ship. There's balloons, there's a live band, it is like
everything to go on.
Everything. It's like you have just arrived at the most amazing party. And what we found was people are up for a party on the cruise. They really, really, really are. So that was the first day. And the second day we stopped, do you remember before we look at it?
Bahamas.
We stopped.
No, was it the Bahamas?
Yes, it was.
Yes.
Day 2, we stopped at the Bahamas.
Nassau.
Nassau, is that how you say
Nassau. I don't know how to say it.
So anyway, we didn't actually book an excursion for that day, but we got onto one of these horse and carts things and just went basically through like the old town, the real places, and looked at the old buildings, and you know, the tour horsey person was telling us.
I think from memory the gentleman that was taking us round in this cart said that it was the smallest island in that group in the Bahamas, but it was the most densely populated.
Yeah, the Bahamas is supposed to have some of the amazing beaches, and a lot of people that got off and did the excursions, that's what they were doing.
Yeah, they were going to the beach.
They were doing all of that, but we just decided to kind of just get off and just see the real place. And it's one of the safest places as well.
That's right, but that day, if you remember right, was a bit overcast and there was a bit of drizzle, a bit of rain, so you weren't going to go and sit in the beach anyway. If you like I said, if you haven't seen the vlogs, you can see the vlogs. Okay, day 3 we arrived. No, it was day 3 was a cruise. Day 3 we were at sea.
Yeah, we were at sea, and day 4 it was Grand Cayman.
Georgetown, Grand Cayman.
What was that? What did we do there? Is that when we swam with the stingray?
Stingrays, yep.
We swam with the stingray. That was really amazing. But the first place they stopped at on the excursion, so this was a pre-booked excursion, they took us to a shopping place.
Yeah.
It was awful. It was an utter waste of time.
There was nothing wrong with the area, but there was nothing really to do.
There was nothing to do.
There wasn't a variety of shops.
No.
And most of them were shut because it was too early in the morning.
Yeah. And then the bus came and collected us, and they took us, and we swam with the stingrays, which I personally, I felt sorry for the stingrays, and I spoke to the captain about that, and I said to the captain, it's a shame that I felt as if they were being made to swim with all these humans. And he says to me, actually the female stingrays actually really love being around the humans. That's what he said to me, and they love being stroked and all that, but the male ones don't. And the male ones are the smaller ones. But I kind of did feel that way, and like I said, I spoke to the captain about it, and he assured me that none were being harmed in the process, and they were quite happy to do it. Okay, so day 5 was another sea day. And when there's a sea days, like I said, there's plenty to do. And day 6, it was Jamaica. That was a good experience as well.
Nice. The excursion was good.
Right. But with Jamaica, we didn't actually plan an excursion. So that day, Rico kept saying to me, oh, and by the way, when you got off, I kept one of these just to remind me, you got a sticker and that told you that was the group you were going with. Because there's different excursions, different groups. And we sometimes mixed up with other people from other ships as well. So yeah, anyway, it was all very well organised. So anyway, that day so that night we arrived back in the cabin. I said to Rico, what time do we have to be up for the excursion? He says to me, what excursion? I've not booked anything. I was like, you have not booked anything?
Kidding you on.
You weren't kidding on. And as you can imagine, we'd had a little bit of a domestic, because I couldn't believe we were arriving in Jamaica and he hadn't booked anything. And it is said, if you listen to a lot of people online, they say Jamaica's not a very safe place. We didn't find that, but we were within an excursion. So
that's right. You were on the bus.
Yeah.
And you were taken to the church we went to see, and then
that's all on the vlog. So you'll see that on the vlogs. So anyway, Rico, that morning when I woke up, so I wasn't happy that night. Got up in the morning, I was still upset that we weren't going on this excursion. But when I woke up, I saw the most beautiful sunrise. It was stunning, and I looked out the window and I thought to myself, I cannot let him miss this. As angry as I am that he has not booked an excursion, he has to see this sunrise. So I woke up and I said, Rico, wake up, come and see this sunrise. I'm so annoyed with you, but come and see it because it is beautiful. and he got up and he says, yes, it is beautiful, blah, blah. And he says, well, I'm just going to go and get us a couple of coffees. Away he went to get the coffees. Then I get a call from Rico saying, get ready, I've booked the last 2 places on the excursion. I was like, I was so excited. Anyway, so we did the excursion in Jamaica. Again, it's on the vlogs, which was really, really good, wasn't it?
Yep.
It was really, really good. So that was Jamaica. And then the last day, we had a whole day to basically kill that day, didn't we?
Well, no, after the day after Jamaica, we were a day at sea again.
Oh, were we? Right, okay.
And then on the Sunday,
yeah,
which was day 8, we arrived in back at Fort Lauderdale.
Right, and then you had booked
the Everglades.
The Everglades, and then we got to talk about the alligators and all of that, which was really interesting.
It was all interesting.
Yeah, it was really, really interesting. Okay, now let's go to your questions. So I've got them sitting right here on my laptop. So I've got a question here from Jules, and she says, thank you for sharing your cruise with us. What was your favourite excursion and what did you enjoy on the cruise the most? Go on, go on.
Favourite excursion? I think Jamaica.
Okay.
I think that was my favourite. I think we saw some real life and people living, and then the plantation was good, and the nursery school that we went to, with the children's school.
It's a very expensive place, Jamaica, and there's a lot of poverty as well. Yeah, I think
the shops that we went to, and they were priced for the tourists.
I don't know. They were charging like $25 for coffee.
Yeah, well.
Anyway,
yeah,
Jamaica.
Coffee wasn't not for a cup of coffee. That was for a pack of coffee beans or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I would say Jamaica.
What was the coffee bean? Was it Blue Mountain or something?
Something like that. Yeah. Which was nice, which we tasted when we went on the excursion, and we tasted the jerk chicken, which was the first time I've ever had jerk chicken. Absolutely love it.
What was the other half of that question?
What did you enjoy on the cruise the most?
That's quite a hard question, really.
There was nothing that we didn't enjoy. The food was amazing.
Food was good.
The food. There was only one night it wasn't great, but that's because of the waiter, and he just wasn't listening. And he was, funnily enough, he was the only waiter that had asked us to give
a good review. A good review.
Can you please? He says, "Can you please give a good review because it means a lot." And now I know why. He must have been borderline desperate, because we've recently read other reviews and they speak about that restaurant again. What was the restaurant? Do you remember?
What was the Italian one? Tuscany.
And it was just rushing. And when he asked me how I wanted my steak, I says to medium to well. What I got was a well-cooked steak. And I says, he's just not listening.
Anyway, no.
That was a problem in that
Would you
restaurant.
like a dessert? Give us 5 minutes, I says to him.
And then he comes straight back. Anyway, so yeah. So there was everything. There was the entertainment was amazing.
Yeah.
Our cabin was amazing. The pool was very small, always packed, wasn't it? It's not a pool for swimming. No. It's for a pool for adults to have a good time in.
That's right.
It wasn't so, I never got into the pool once because it was all about, it was like a bar pool.
That's right.
That's what it was. So yeah, just that there wasn't anything really that we didn't like. Everything because the ship is designed to entertain everybody, that you're gonna find something that you enjoy. Okay, Terry asks, what I found refreshing was wearing your classic dress collection. Did it feel good to wear them again? Yes, it did feel good to wear them and so fit into them, although sometimes they were a little tight. But yeah, I decided I wasn't going to find anything better than what I already had in my wardrobe for the cruise, so I just went with what I had. The only new thing that I had bought was my white suit, which I wore on one of the dressier nights, and again you will have seen that in the vlogs. Patricia D asks, hi Andri, I have a question. What did you think of the food on board and what was your favourite meal? Also, did you do any duty-free shopping? Okay.
Well, food was good. That was no qualms with the food. There were 4 main restaurants that you could dine in any of the evenings. The only evening that they picked a restaurant for you was the first night you were allocated to go to that restaurant. But these 4 restaurants, one was Italian, one was the Cyprus restaurant, one was the French one, and the other one was the American one. I can't remember the names.
They're all written in here.
Yeah, I can't remember the names offhand. But they all had the same menu, except they all had their own specialities as well as the main menu. So there was something for everybody in those menus.
I
definitely.
really enjoyed when Rico and I first got together. He had introduced me to escargot, which is basically snails cooked in garlic, and I haven't had them for years. So, and you might have seen that on the vlogs, we chose to have them a few nights. They were absolutely delicious, weren't they? They were really.
I had them a couple of nights as well.
Yeah, they were really, really good.
And what I will say about these 4 restaurants, although they listed, this is your starters, these are the mains, these are the desserts. You could have 2 starters. You could say, I want some escargot and then I want the onion soup, for example, or anything else. And the food was good.
It was really good. The other thing about the dining was when you book the cruise, the only time, so everybody is allocated a time.
Yeah,
so
it's either early or late.
Yeah,
That's
so you don't.
two times.
So what happens is you don't actually have. You're not booking the restaurant beforehand, but what you have booked is a time slot.
That's
and
right.
you can decide what restaurant you go to within these restaurants and however many times you want to. One of the restaurants you had paid. 2 of the restaurants we had paid extra for.
Yes.
2 of the restaurants. Did you mention?
Their speciality dining.
Yeah.
I think there's maybe 3 or 4 of them as well.
Right. So. So you could eat at the ones that you have pre-booked as many times as you want, but out with those restaurants you've got the speciality
dining. There's a steakhouse which we dined in.
We did that on my birthday.
We dined in the Petit Chef.
That was my favourite.
Theatre, yeah.
So going back to favourite food and all that, that was my absolute favourite restaurant. That was the one that I really, really wanted to do. And I said, Rico, book that one. I really want to do that one with the animation. Well worth watching. I didn't have high expectations of the food. I thought it was going to be all about the animation, but the food, I would say that was
exquisite.
It was one exquisite of the. Oh, it was amazing.
And the service was exquisite because the animation was going on your plate, and then the lights came on and the animation stopped.
And the waiter was
and the waiters were there,
ready to serve the food.
The chef, in the animation, the chef would always say "Bon appetit" to finish with, and boom, it appeared. That course appeared in front of you.
That was my favourite restaurant, and I would, if I were to do this cruise again, I would definitely book that.
And it was like a 4-course menu. We had the soup, then we had it was hake or halibut, I can't remember what it was.
I showed all of that on the cruise.
And every course was outstanding.
Yeah, it was really good.
Yep.
Again, Terry's asking here, what was your favourite island? That would have been Jamaica, we said, yeah. So Terry again asks, how was the service? We've spoken about that. Service was excellent, except in this one place. And even at that, it wasn't that it was bad. Was the trip what you expected?
It didn't disappoint. No, it definitely was. You expected something special, and it was special. To me, it was special. It was very, very good.
It did feel special, and it's probably because we've never done it before. So, you know, we were virgin cruises, you could say. So it felt special. Was the trip worth the money?
Yes, definitely.
Definitely. What was your favourite part of the trip? I don't think you can pick a favourite part of the trip. No, I couldn't pick a favourite part of the trip. Then Patricia says, hi Andrew, what did you think of the jerk chicken? Years ago we used a kind of cook-in jerk sauce and it was the hottest thing I've ever tried, and we like spicy food. if you decide to do another cruise sometime, you might like to go on a longer one. 7 to 8 days isn't really long enough, especially if you are flying across multiple time zones to get to the ship. Right, I'll just quickly answer that so I don't forget. I thought our 7 days, was it 7 days, was long enough?
Yes.
Would you say?
Yes.
I felt it was long enough.
Yep. To have a wee bit here and a wee bit there in the ship.
Would you have liked to have gone longer and seen more places?
No, I don't think so. I don't think like some people were staying on to do back to back on the ship, because 1 week it does those islands and then the next week it does a different set of islands in the Caribbean. So some people were staying on to do the back to back weeks on it. But I don't think I could have stayed on to do another week. I think that 7 nights on the ship was ample.
Yeah,
yep.
It was amazing, and yeah, I think it was enough. What was the other part of the question? I think there was a question earlier on from Patricia. Did I do any duty-free shopping? No, I didn't do any. I looked at it, but there was nothing. It wasn't for me. It wasn't about shopping for me. It was about the experience of the cruise, experience in different countries. I think I'm also past buying things in like the touristy shops, what they call the knickknacks. You know, you look at these things and do we really need anything like that as souvenirs? I make my memories with my vlogs, so I don't feel I need souvenir shops.
All you need is another coffee cup, isn't it?
I do like to bring a coffee cup, but I did get a couple of coffee cups, but I'm not really into souvenirs. It's not a thing for me. So I just remembered I hadn't answered that question. Did we answer? Oh, the jerk chicken. See, I was really surprised because I thought the jerk chicken was going to be really spicy hot, but the one we were given wasn't. Beautiful, it was spicy, but not hot in the sense.
But it just depends how much chilli you put in it. We've made it since we've came back.
Yeah, but that one that we had in Jamaica,
no.
And I was like that, cutting it, I thought, oh, this is going to be really spicy, but actually it wasn't. It was perfect, which then in turn inspired Rico to cook it at home. It's only war paint. Was the animation better in reality, or did it come across better through a lens? It's a great idea. I discovered it has been around a few years and there are a number of places worldwide that offer it. Would it be a one-off dining experience, or could you see yourselves doing it again? Did you get any special attention in the last restaurant? What was the last restaurant? What was the last restaurant we went to? The last
restaurant we went to was the French one. I can't remember its name. I think it was more French orientated.
Oh, I wonder if she means the separate one.
The separate one we went to wasn't the last one we went to anyway.
Anyway, we didn't get any special attention. Well, no more than usual in any of the restaurants. So you were made to feel special. They were all good in all the ones except the one. And the animation, was it better in reality, or did it come across better through a lens? Better in reality.
Yes, definitely.
Much better in reality. No, definitely the experience of being there was much better. I didn't know actually that the other restaurants did it as well, and I would be quite happy.
I'm sure I was talking to the chef, you know.
I loved it. See, I don't know, because we've done it, although I'm saying I would love to do it again, I don't know if we've done it, if we would be so excited by it again. Maybe if it was a different story.
Yeah, well,
I would love to be with other people that haven't experienced it and experience it again through their eyes. I think that would be good. How many bags did you bring? Terry asks, how many bags did I bring? I had my Chanel Deauville tote, I had my Chanel Walk, I had my Chanel Medium Classic, I had my Zara Pearl bag. That's all I took. So here we have a question. Was the petite chef worth the money? I noticed that they wanted money for the wine. Okay.
Right. You could, or order tasting wines to go with each course.
That's right, that's right.
Which were different from what you might be drinking, but we didn't opt for that. We just drank what we wanted. I think.
Yeah,
we were
so
on the champagne and I was on whatever. I don't
which
know,
was part of our drinks package.
Yes.
So we didn't opt for the tasting wines. We just had
that menu. We paid for the menu, obviously.
Yeah.
For
Do you remember how much it was? No.
Can't remember. I think it was.
Okay, so we've got a question here. How did the stingrays feel? Well, the captain described them as mushrooms. What did he say? They were like soggy
mushrooms.
Soggy
That's
mushrooms.
Bang on.
Is
bang
how
on. The wings were like soggy mushrooms. The whole feeling of that.
Yeah. She says, were they rough or smooth? They were smooth.
That area's smooth, but you went to touch them along the spine because that's you'll get a wee shock there. I think not a shock, but you'll get the spines were sharp.
Yeah, there was
the middle of the back. That
we were just allowed to touch them on
and underneath and give them a kiss.
You're told exactly where you can touch them, where you can't touch them, how to behave around them, and all of that. So it's like a slimy mushroom, basically.
Yep.
So we've got here a question from Leslie, and she says, after having this one under your belt, if you did cruise again, what would you want to do differently and what would you want to repeat? Did you do any shopping in the US or on board the ship? What would you do? So basically, what would you do differently?
Well, cruise wise, I would definitely go on the Celebrity range again, 100%.
Yeah.
I was happy with the ship, I was happy with the service, the food, the quality of the food, the standard of the food, the drinks package.
Do you think you would enjoy it second time round as much because you know we had no expectations this time?
The only variation you would do a different cruise. I wouldn't do the same 3 islands.
Obviously you wouldn't do the same different islands, but because we've done it now, you're not going to be so overwhelmed by everything because you know what to expect. Do you think that would be knowing what to expect? Do you think would that? I think in the
time we were on the ship, those 7 or 8 nights, whatever it was, the time we were on the ship, you didn't have enough time to explore it properly.
Yeah, true.
So when you go back, you'll say, well, I remember I went to that part of the ship. I'm not going to go back down that road. I want to go and sit here during the day or go there. You know, like we went to that Eden at the end, which is at the back of the ship, the aft of the ship, and during the day it would have been quite nice. Like you with your book, you would have quite enjoyed sitting there reading your book.
I don't know. I loved sitting in the cabin with the window down, with the sea whooshing outside and reading my book, which annoyed Rico.
But maybe if you didn't want to go to your cabin at that point.
I quite enjoyed just taking
it. It was nice away from everybody because that was the quietest part of the ship during the day. At the back there.
Yeah.
So, and there are other things that you would maybe we would have done more shows because we never really went to the theatre at night at all.
I know,
we went once.
I think we were just too hyper to experience everything. I mean, the first day I got onto the ship, I think I wanted to go and see everything. Remember, we were just walking through everything, just wanted to see everything. Going back to when you get off the ship, you have to do your safety things as well, and again that's on the app. So you meet up at a certain place where the app tells you, which is where if there was an emergency you would meet up, and you have to do that or they start calling your names out and all of that. So you're best doing that as soon as you get off the ship, getting it out the way and it's done, and you'd go through the whole safety with the seat belts and all of that. So there's crew members standing in your section. You're not queuing up, you just go do it as you get on board. So you're not standing like in a group unless there's a lot of people there at the same time as you. So as you get on, you just go and do it, and then you just go off into your cabin, isn't
Yep.
it? That's what that's about. So that's another bit of advice. Just do it, get it out the way, and you tick it off on the app. The other thing I would say is it's good to get on, like for us, we got onto the groups, because if there's something you want to ask, like first timers like us, you can go onto these Facebook groups. Facebook groups. There'll always be somebody that's starting one off for that certain cruise. You just put in the date, name of the ship, and all of that, and the Facebook groups come up. And if you have a question, they can answer them. Talking of questions, if you have any questions for us, then just put them down in the comments and we'll answer them for you. I think this video has been long enough. We thoroughly enjoyed it. Do we think we're going to do another one?
Absolutely.
You were looking at them.
Yes, I have been. Yes.
You've been looking at them. So
Mediterranean.
yeah, that
on the Ascent even.
We really loved the ship. They're apparently building another. It's another new ship. This was quite a new ship, the one that we were on, but it was amazing. It really was amazing, and a lovely thing to do for my 60th. So thank you very much.
Yep.
Thank you. So from us, thank you very much for watching. Thank you for your questions, and if you would like to see any more videos, as always, I shall link one here and here, and if you're not already subscribed, it's the A right here, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.
Mwah.
Chin chin.